Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Rainer and this is my channel, Rainier Books. It's Tuesday in a couple of hours, so Tuesday tomorrow. It's Tag Tuesday. I was tagged by Brian from Bookish, who is doing a lot of videos right now in his great series of vlogmas videos. I think one every day. That's really absolutely great. Many of you do this right now, and I really appreciate to see all the different kinds of vlogmas things. The bookshelf tag is what I'm doing now because I was tagged by Brian. Thanks very much again. Before I answer all the prompts, you will have to see my beautiful intro. Let's get started. The bookshelf tag was originally created by Serena, a wandering mind. How many bookshelves do you have? As you can see right behind me, I have a very small amount of bookshelves. I have only 3 bookshelves, and they all have the same name. They're all called Billy, and they're from a little Swedish warehouse that's about 15 to 20 minutes from here by bus. In Kungens Kurva is the great IKEA where I bought those Billy shelves. Yeah, 3. How many books are on your bookshelves, or how many books you think you have? Actually, I haven't counted them in preparation for this video. I haven't counted them, but I really tried to think. I'm thinking I would say I have around 300 books right now, which is a lot less than I had before. I once had a great book collection when I lived in Germany. Were all pocketbooks, and most of them really in German. And then I moved to Finland. No, I moved to Russia, and then I moved to Finland, and then I moved to Sweden. And somewhere on the way, I gave up most of these books. So I started collecting books, but buying books again when I moved to this place here in Västertorp. How do you organize your books? I have no special way of organizing the books. I have to admit that it's not after color, it's not after the last name of the authors, it's not after genre, it's just after read and not read. So there are 3 piles of books that I have read. On the shelves there are still some books that I have read and have not read. I actually should clean it up a little bit and to take those books away from the shelves and put them on the piles where I have my read books, but there's no particular order. So sometimes I'm really looking for something, but it's always nice to look for things because you get happier when you actually find them after a while and after a little adventure on the shelves. So question number 4 is, what is the oldest book on your bookshelf? I'm not sure. So I just picked one, which could be one of the oldest. As I said, I have started again after this is like a second book collection that I'm opening now. And I think one of the older books, because I read a lot of thrillers over a long period of years. So it might be one of these here, and it might be just this book. It's called The Black Box by Connelly. One of the many thrillers that he wrote about Lieutenant Harry Bosch. This is Los Angeles, May 1992. Murder just got a whole lot easier, and investigating them got a whole lot harder. After 4 LAPD officers were acquitted following the savage beating of Rodney King, LA is ablaze. A looting and burning take over the city. Law and order are swept away in an idle wave of violence, but under threat of their lives, homicide detectives like Harry Bosch are still stubbornly trying to do their job. When Harry finds the body of a female journalist in an alley, apparently executed, he's forced to hand the case over to the Riot Crimes Task Force, knowing that it will never be solved. And 20 years later, Harry has still not forgotten the woman for whom he was unable to deliver justice. But now, a new ballistic evidence confirms that death was not a case of random violence, but something much more personal. This time, Harry is determined that the killer isn't going to escape, even if it means stepping back into the darkest days of the city he loves. That's The Black Box by Connelly. Every piece of storytelling by Connelly is really exquisite concerning plot-wise, and his character Harry Bosch is very, very special to me. And even the music, there's this long soundtrack of the music of Harry Bosch, because Harry, when he comes back to his house where he can see the city beneath him, somewhere in the Hollywood Hills, I guess, he always listens to exquisite jazz music, and a lot of music in this book and in many of the other books as well by Michael Connelly. So this might be one of the oldest books actually that I own. Right now, it's from 2012. It was published in 2012. What is the newest book on your bookshelf? That is pretty easy. The newest book was published on November 17. Just coming so close to the camera now, don't be afraid. And the oldest book that I own is A Promised Land by the former president of the United States, Barack Obama. Here, standing in the Oval Office, probably looking and thinking about what to do with Bin Laden or with Mitterrand or not Kohl, but Angela Merkel, the German chancellor. A lot of pictures in it, and this is the oldest book. This is the newest book that I have right now. Barack Obama. What is the longest book on your bookshelf? I had to look it up, and the question is quite easy because I just pick up the same book. It's Barack Obama, A Promised Land, because this book has not less than 752 pages and is really the longest book that I own right now. And I'm going to read all those 752 pages next year. What is the shortest book on your bookshelf? The shortest book that I own is by a Nobel winner of literature, Yasunari Kawabata from Japan. Snow Country is the title, and it has only 131 pages. And I have been to Japan, as you might know, and I really am a fan of Japanese literature. It takes you it's really so different from everything that I know. The train came out of the long tunnel into the snow country. The earth lay white under the night sky. The train pulled up at signal stop. A girl who had been sitting on the other side of the car came over and opened the window in front of Shimamura. The snowy cold poured in. Leaning far out the window, the girl called to the station master as though he were a great distance away. The station master walked slowly over the snow, a lantern in his hand. His face was buried to the nose in a muffler, and the flaps of his cap were turned down over his ears. "It's that cold, is it?" thought Shimamura. Low barrack-like buildings that might have been railway dormitories were scattered here and there up the frozen slope of the mountain. The white of the snow fell away into the darkness some distance before it reached them. This place in the snow country, in the Japanese snow country in the west of Japan. And it's in the mountains. And Shimamura, the main figure, the main character, Shimamura, the protagonist, is traveling there because he fell in love with a geisha, and her name is Kamako. And she is very much bound by the rules of a rural ancestors, and the two of them love each other, but they don't really fit together. So this is, and then it's in the snow country. It's both a delicate and subtle reflecting in Kawabara's exact lyrical writing, the unspoken love and the understated passion of the young Japanese couple. Beautiful. I haven't read that one yet, but it's the shortest book that I own. What is the predominant genre on your bookshelf? If you had asked me 12 years ago, I would have said crime. Now, crime is still has still a good number there, but it's outweighed. It's outweighed by that what we call literary fiction, which is actually not really a genre, but it's we call it Belletristik in German, Schönliteratur in Swedish, beautiful literature. And like belletristic means the same thing. And yeah, literary fiction is probably the one genre that is predominant on my shelf. Have you done a bookshelf tour? No. And I don't I don't sell tickets to bookshelf tours. My bookshelf is way too little. My bookshelf is way too small to to show it to a lot of people on the internet, like many of you do, because you have beautiful and amazing and gigantic bookshelves. Already, I always admire bookshelf tours when people have vast bookshelves, and I always love when I go to libraries, to the historical and beautiful libraries like the Stockholm City Library, or the Library of Glasgow in Scotland, or Edinburgh. No, not in Edinburgh. The Library of Glasgow in Scotland is very beautiful, and there are many, many others. So they have very, very beautiful shelves. But my shelf is not that spectacular. Question number 10 is, go on a random number generator and talk about the book that corresponds with that number. So I started counting from the books that I have read, the piles, and then worked my way to the shelves. And I came up to 73. So 73 was the number that I got, and the book that I picked, because it was number 73 when I counted, is a book that I haven't read yet. It's a Canadian book called Always Brave, Sometimes Kind by Katie Bickle, and was actually published in 2020. And I love the cover picture. I love all this North American. I love these North American Hopper style kind of pictures or art, whatever. And this is a novel, Always Brave, Sometimes Kind. And I made it in the summer as one of my most interesting new books of a month this year. And I got it from Canada. And this is playing in Alberta, in the province of Alberta. Set in urban and rural Alberta, Katie Bickle's debut spans the years from 1990 to 2016 through cycles of boom and bust in the oil fields, government budget cuts, and the rising opioid crisis, capturing the intersecting lives of people whose communities sometimes stretch farther than they know. We meet a teenage runaway who goes into labor at West Edmonton Mall, a doctor managing hospital overflow, a broke dad making extra pay through a phone sex line, a young musician who dreams of fame beyond the reserve, and a dedicated hockey mom grappling with sense of self. Tracing alliances and betrayals from different perspectives over decades, Bickle writes an ode to home that is both warm and gritty, well-defined and utterly complicated. This was published by like small publishers, as much as I like some independent bookstores. This is published by a small publisher in Canada. The publisher is called Brindle and Glass. And I got the softcover edition, and I actually ordered it here in Sweden, and I got it pretty quickly. Always Brave, Sometimes Kind is the book with a number generator, and it was number 73. Do you have fan merch or any other decorations on your bookshelf? Fan merch. Is that like a football team, a baseball team, soccer team, whatever? No, I don't have that kind of fan merch on my bookshelf, but I have decorations, and I have to show them to you probably. I have this Japanese whiskey, Japanese tea, which I don't like and don't drink. This is barley tea from Japan. This is apricot barley. And this is watermelon barley tea. I actually hate barley tea. So it will be standing there as a decoration for many years to come. I have this beautiful mug that I bought in Vancouver. It's not official. I have these beautiful Stockholm mugs. These are really good and beautiful, aren't they? And I have this from Fortnum & Mason in London, England. I will receive a new box of new boxes of tea from Fortnum & Mason in England, actually on Wednesday. This is very recommendable if you love good tea. This is from Fortnum & Mason, and it's called, this is the Rose Pouchong tea. Show us your bookshelf. So these are piles, I call them piles, with red books, and you find many thrillers here. You find autobiographies like Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run, Anna Wiener, Uncanny Valley, The Great Offshore Grounds by Vanessa Vaselka, All Involved by Ryan Watts, The 9/11 Wars by Jason Burke, and many other books. This was the bookshelf book tag, and now I just have to tag someone. Because I just got one tag, I believe, for this tag. So, That was the Bookshelf Book Tag by me, Rainer from Rainier Books. I hope that you liked it somehow. And I'm tagging Marita from Marita Reads. That was all I had to say in the Bookshelf Book Tag. Thanks for watching this video. As I always say, in 2020 and in 2021, the first vaccinations are on their way, both in the UK and in the United States as of today, Monday. Wear a mask. Socially distance from people that don't live in your household. Be safe, stay healthy, and see you soon. Bye-bye.